Welcome back to Before the Bell here on MMA Oddsbreaker. That's Nick Kalikas. I'm Frank Trigg. This week, UFC on Fox 17. Dos Anjos versus Cerrone. Now, Cerrone obviously has had a lot to say about Conor McGregor's win and what would happen to Conor if he decided to come up and face Donald. But first, we got to talk about Alistair Overeem and Junior Dos Santos. I don't think that Overeem is back. I just don't think that he's back the way he used to be when he was in Pride. I don't think he's got that kind of game, that kind of style anymore. I think Dos Anjos is going to win this one pretty easily. Does the line reflect my opinion, or am I once again completely out of the realm?
Well, looking over at 5 dimes right now, it's minus 300 for Dos Anjos. The comeback is plus 250 on Overeem. So Dos Anjos is a decent favorite. I mean, a very solid favorite. And a lot of people tend to agree with what you just said there. It's not the same Overeem that we saw dominate people. I mean, he's definitely been a little bit chinny. His cardio isn't really exactly up to par as well since entering the UFC. Now he's bounced back and had a couple decent performances and got himself back on track a little bit, which you like to see. But right now he's stepping in there against arguably the top 2, 3 heavyweight in the world. And I know Junior Dos Santos has looked a little bit more human lately as well, right? I mean, because Kane, those fights that he had with Kane really took a lot out of him. And then his war with Stipe as well. I mean, that fight with Stipe was really close. It was a brutal fight. It was an awesome fight to watch as a fan. But man, those fights take stuff out of you. They have to. So just not sure. I mean, he's had some time off as well. So I think the line's a tad bit high. But at the same time, if you have to really depend on one over the other, you got to think that JDS is a little bit more solid. He has a better chin. I mean, the guy does not go down. He doesn't want to go down. He's tough as nails, has a really solid chin, like I said, has better cardio, and is the better overall fighter, I think, at this point. So you got to favor JDS. It's just a tough line to bet at minus 300. I mean, would you honestly lay your money on either one of these guys right now at that price?
The number you just gave us, I'm leaving it alone. 100% this price can be left alone on my part. And part of it too is I think Overeem got caught up in part of the Pride problem, the Pride dilemma, where there was no drug testing in Pride, whether he was using drugs or not. Obviously, horse meat has been his big thing, and he got popped a couple times for testosterone replacement while he's been in the UFC. He's just one of those guys now with the drug testing and the way things have changed. He just has not looked the same. He hasn't had the same snap, the same power, the same fire. I mean, it's just been he's been way behind. And Junior Dos Santos has had some wars, like you said, but definitely not the same. But still way better, in my opinion, than Overeem. This fight, I'm completely leaving alone. What is it though, from your standpoint? What are you going to do with it? Is this a dog or pass again?
At 300, no, it's not even a dog or pass situation. I mean, there might be some value in Overeem, so I'm not, counting it out completely. But honestly, for me, I wouldn't want to take a stab at the dog either. I mean, it's just one of those spots that if we see the favorite drop even more so, like, I mean, for some reason, if we see it drop to 2-1, then there obviously will be some value on Junior Dos Santos. Or if we see it climb up to like say 4.5-1 or something like that, it might be a little bit tempting to go, on the dog at that time as well. So I just really can't trust either guy from what I've seen recently. I mean, again, I have a little bit more faith in Junior Dos Santos. He's been in there with the best competition there is to be in, and he's had some success. Again, minus the Kane factor there, but yeah, he should win this fight. Honestly, I think he's going to show up here. He has the cardio edge. I think he has the overall striking edge. Overeem's very dangerous though, man. I mean, he can knock anybody out in the heavyweight division. He's a K1 champion, so you cannot you know, count this guy out ever because that alone says a lot. But you're right. There's that background with the drug testing, and he's got to clean up his act coming over to the UFC, especially these days. It's even more, more so than ever. So that does have an impact, I think, in the game. So you got to lean Junior Dos Santos, but a very difficult fight to bet. I know a lot of people are throwing JDS in parlays. Again, is there true value at 300? I don't think. I think it's kind of you stay away from it. Hate to say it because you want to give people plays out there, but at the same time, if it's not there, don't force it.
Yeah, I like your analysis of that one. You got to move on to Donald Cerrone and Junior Dos Santos. I'm picking Cerrone in this one all day long. Like I think Cerrone just got the better stance, the better style, the better everything. But I think the betting public is not going to be betting on Cerrone. They're going to be going with Dos Santos, or just Dos Anjos, excuse me. But I just think Cerrone's a better overall fighter. I just think he's got the knacks, but he's also failed in the big fights before. So I'm kind of wondering if his mental game has gotten locked in or not. How do you break this fight down, Nick?
Well, I mean, they did fight before. It was a 3-round fight, and Dos Anjos came away with a unanimous decision win. It was a pretty good fight. I mean, it was close, it was competitive, but Dos Anjos definitely deserved to get the nod there. I think both of these guys are well rounded. I was going to say maybe a little bit ahead of Cerrone in overall game because I think his wrestling is a little bit better than Cerrone's, but Cerrone has good wrestling too. I mean, so it's one of those situations. He's got good takedown defense on the feet. They both can definitely dish it out, and they can both take it. They're both tough as well. So I see if it all depends to me. I mean, look at the RDA, the Dos Anjos that showed up against Anthony Pettis. Before that fight, in my opinion, he had some cardio issues. Even in the Cerrone fight, when he fought him last time, he won the first 2 rounds. He faded enough that Cerrone actually won the third round in that fight, right? So you start to think to yourself, if it's in a 5 round fight, Dos Anjos' cardio is really going to be in question, and you can't really depend on him, right? That was my opinion going into the of course the Pettis fight. Excuse me, spinning out there, but against Anthony Pettis, I thought, man, it's a 5 round fight. Even if Dos Anjos does good early on, Pettis will take over, and clearly beat him. That cardio held up. I mean, Dos Anjos looked like a beast. He won all 5 rounds against the man at that time. So if we see that Dos Anjos show up with that cardio, he's going to win this fight. If we see the Dos Anjos show up that fought Cerrone the first time, Cerrone's probably going to win this fight, honestly. So it really depends on who shows up here, and what kind of shape they're in. I have to think that Dos Anjos will get the takedowns. He was able to have some success on the feet as well against Cerrone, and if his cardio holds up, he should win the fight. So I lean towards the favorite here instead of the dog. But depending on price, again, it's a price game because the line was higher earlier in the week and it's been a little bit higher and it's steady been dropping down a little bit. Originally it opened and it kind of climbed up. Now we're seeing it climb back down. So it's a price type of game. I mean, if you do get Cerrone around plus 200 or higher, obviously there's going to probably be some value there. But if you're getting Dos Anjos under 2-1, there's probably some value there. And right now, over 5 dimes, it is Dos Anjos exactly 2-1. He's minus 200. The comeback on Cerrone's plus 170. So it's almost at that spot where I think it's pretty much steady. It's okay right now, but we're going to have to see how the lines move before you make a play. It's hard to lay juice against Cerrone, though, right? It really is.
It's really difficult. He always seems to be a gamer. He always brings it up, and now he's actually getting better with his trash talking. He's really not playing that old country boy and telling him I have a Bud Light and shut up and leave me alone. He's really getting after, really getting out there, especially when other people are talking about coming in and battling at the weight class. Like obviously Dana White has come out and said with Conor McGregor's amazing performance, that 13-second win last week, that if he decides to move up in weight class, he will get an immediate title shot. And I believe this is the guy that he is the new coming of Muhammad Ali. Like Conor McGregor is the guy that's going to sell out any major stadium we put him in. The opponent doesn't matter. If Conor McGregor is on the card, no matter what the stadium is, it will sell out. It will do great pay-per-view numbers. And Cerrone is that guy that's now answering back. Like, look, come up. I'll beat him up. He's too small. He's too short. It's not going to work in the weight class. But he's got to worry about RDA. Do you think that Cerrone is so busy, almost already trying to build up a fight with Conor McGregor, he's forgetting about Rafael dos Anjos? Do you think that he's kind of like not second guessing it, but looking beyond him already when he's really got to worry about the task at hand come Saturday night?
I hope not. And I don't think so because I mean Cerrone's a pretty intelligent guy, and I think that he knows. I mean, he legitimately lost the first fight to RDA, so he's got a shot for sure in this fight as well. But I think he knows that this is a tough fight. I mean, again, Dos Anjos' striking has improved. I mean, he's gotten stronger. A lot of people out there are actually speculating that through the last couple of years, if you look at RDA before and you look at him now, I mean, his physique's changed. He's stronger. So a lot of people are actually questioning if he's on PEDs or not. You know what I mean? So and you don't know. I would think obviously the drug testing comes into play here, and I'm sure he's going to get caught if he does fail. Obviously, and it'll come out. But as of right now, he's clean, and he's just been putting in the work. So we have to give him benefit of the doubt. He's been training hard. He has himself surrounded by a great camp. I think he's better now than he was in their first fight as well. So I think Cerrone has to take him serious because it's not going to be an easy fight. Right now, I think RDA is really the best lightweight in the world, minus the fact that Khabib beat him before. He had that loss to Khabib. He got out wrestled and grinded out. So he's the guy that's kind of the wild card factor now. But you know what? He's injury prone. He hasn't even been able to stay healthy enough to actually get that shot. So outside of Khabib coming in and maybe out wrestling RDA, I think RDA is the man to beat right now. I mean, he's just a complete fighter. He's got the jiu-jitsu, he's got the striking, he's got the wrestling. I mean, total package. So Cerrone has his work cut out for him. I don't think he can look ahead of Conor McGregor because he might not win this fight. So if he's doing that, then obviously, yeah, it's not a good thing.
Okay, so final pick on this one. Are you taking the dog or taking the favorite in this one?
Right now, it's creeping down a little bit, and if it does drop below 200 again, I'll probably be on the favorite. Honestly, I do have respect for both fighters. They're both really talented, and look at the streak. I mean, both these guys have been on, especially Cerrone. I mean, he's just picking off contenders left and right, and he's the type of guy that throughout his career he almost deserves to wear that strap, for at least a short time because he's such a great fighter. I mean, historically in the UFC and even in WEC, so the guy is champion worthy for sure. And it might be his weekend, but still, I have to give the slight edge just based on what I've seen and what I've seen recently. I think RDA is just a step ahead of him right now.
Well, there you have it. Those are our picks for UFC on Fox 17. Those audience with Cerrone, December 19th, Amway Center, Orlando, Florida. This is Before the Bell on MMA Oddsbreaker. That's Nick Kalikas. I'm Frank Trigg. We'll see you next week.